So we have here cadmium red light, cadmium yellow light, sap green, and ivory black. So I'm going to finish this part down here. So we're going to put some more detail and colors in the front. We're good with the back. We could add a bit of maybe a little bit of detail in the back, maybe up here, up top part where there is a nice tree and another kind of a nice detail. So I'm going to take sap green for this part, sap green. I'm going to put a touch of red in it. And highlighted with a touch of very small amount of yellow. So I'm going to come here and, oops, needs water. Let's see. So sideways, I'm holding my brush and I'm just going to go random to a kind of a pointy. All right, over here, there's a bit more of a dark, but not so dark, not really like a heavy dark green. It's kind of a darker green in here. And another one over here. Usually I don't really paint everything I see. I make sure that it's the right kind of composition. So if the tree doesn't look right where it is, I don't include it. I put it somewhere else. But here in this project, actually the trees and the colors are pretty good. They're really nice. I'm highlighting with a bit of yellow now, just tiny bit. This is not detailed. This is a suggestion of what's happening. You don't want to put detail in here. So what I did is I picked up, this is more like this is sap green. This is sap green with a touch of red in it to make it more olive. And then it has cadmium yellow light. So I can now take the sap green with yellow and red. And I'm just going to put a couple of those little trees here and there. They kind of, those trees, the dark ones, they kind of anchor the colors in here. And I think that's all we need to do for this area here. So I'm just gonna take a bit of green again. Yellow. And red. When you take red, really be careful, very careful, because red is very strong. So it's a very, like a light olive olive green. And I'm gonna come here and just give this area here some bit of highlights on just the top of the trees. Just a bit of highlight. That's it. Just to give it movement, because it was too dark in here. Okay. Okay. So let's take the trees in front. There's a nice tree in here. Corner of my brush. up and down, and stay, don't stay in the same, when you're putting this brush stroke, this is more like a dabbing up and down, dabbing. Move your hand around. So, because if you do it in the same spot, you're gonna have flat paint. So to get some movement in here, some texture actually, and the texture of a tree, keep your hand moving. Now, this is good. I'll put another one here. Just right there. Okay. Let's let it dry and see if we need to highlight it a bit more. That's good. Okay. Some olive green, sap green, red, that's olive green, and a bit of yellow. Okay, good. Another one here. And that's olive green. So now I have this part here is a bit too highlighted on this side. I can leave it and just move on to this part. And I'm going to clean my brush. Wipe it. Mix an orange in here and leave it. Just keep it aside, this orange. Wipe my brush. I wiped my brush. I still have orange on it. I'm taking yellow into my green, into my olive green. And I'm going to come here and highlight this tree. And I'm going to take orange now. I'm not cleaning my brush. I don't want, the reason I'm not cleaning my brush, because I don't want the orange to be too bright. The green is going to tone down the orange. Okay, that's good. Now, burnt umber. White. I'll stop after this. I'll stop recording. Okay, now I'm mixing burnt umber and white. It's more on the white side. So, and I'm making my color kind of creamy. So a small round brush. It will dry darker. It should dry darker. This is, right now it's very, very light. But it should, should dry darker.
What was the color, Leo?
Burnt umber and white. I mean, you could use, if you like, as well, white and ultramarine violet. That would work too. So I don't want it to be too strong. It should dry, like I said, darker, but we'll see. If it doesn't, then I'll put a bit of ultramarine violet, ultramarine violet on it.
Is it titanium white or regular white?
No, titanium white. Okay. Let's take a bit more burnt umber and white. And I'm going to put the house here. Right, clean my brush. I'm picking up red, black, mix it. Just tone down my red. I'll put a rooftop on the house. Looks more like a hot dog sandwich than a house. It looks pretty awful right now. Let's take brown, just brown, which is burnt umber, and put a door, little window, and then we're going to put green over that in front of this house. I'm going to camouflage it in green. Sap green, touch of black. If you are not comfortable putting this house, you don't want it, there's no problem. You don't have to put it there. Okay. Right. So now what we'll do is the field. We'll highlight the field. So I'm taking sap green, yellow. In this, you can see that this sap green and yellow this sap green is not earthy. So I'm going to take a bit of red and put it in to tone it down and make it more earthy. And I'm going to grab some yellow. And I'm going to do this slowly. more of that. Okay, so mid-tone right now, white brush, and go to the back. So whatever far away, I'm going to put some yellow ochre in there too later on in the back. Wet my brush, load it. And coming further down, closer to me, I'm going to start changing my brush stroke to more of up and down. I'm not worried about the pale. I'll fix them. It's a completely different texture from working on mixed media paper. When you work on canvas. I'm going to try to keep a bit of dark green in here, but if I lose it, it's no problem. I'll put it back.
Your green looks so much lighter than mine.
It's not that light here. It looks light on the monitor. It looks really light on the monitor. I can see it too, but it's not that light in here. You'll see it more when I sent the picture. Did you? But Estero, I'll tell you what, because I take I don't highlight strong right away.
No, I know this is not strong. It looks very green. Not light green, like because there's a little bit of the red in it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes. Yes. Yes, the red makes a big difference. Now I'm adding more yellow, a lot more yellow, and I'm putting some touch of red in my yellow too. So I'm adding yellow to the green. So this is more yellow now, but it has a bit of, still, it has a bit of red in it too. Because even, I mean, when I look at the reference, there is red in that
Mm-hmm.
yellow. So just put some water in here. My paint is very dry.
Anna,
Yeah.
I actually added some yellow ochre,
Mhm.
and that sort of gives it that reddish feeling as well.
Yes,
Oh.
I'm going to be adding some yellow ochre soon. Yes. Yes. I'm just getting the brightness a bit, you know, the highlight, the strong highlight, but there will be yellow ochre in here too, because there is yellow ochre in there. And that's, you're right, that's why it's looking red. Because right now this color is not real. It's very artificial right now. But it's giving me the strong light. Because yellow ochre is earthy. It's very earthy. So it doesn't give that brightness. So what I do is I like to, if the color is bright and I need that yellow ochre to be light, I'll put the color first, highlight it, and then put yellow ochre over it. We're gonna pick up some yellow ochre too on the bale. Is that what it's called again?
Yeah.
Bale. Yep. Yeah, you're right, Jamal. That needs yellow ochre. And it's really up to you how much you want to put in here, how much highlights. If this is too light and you find it, you find that you would like it a little bit darker, that's fine too, whatever. I'm really not trying to make it look realistic. It's just the colors are beautiful, that's all. So brush stroke up and down, across, some orange in here, and
You're putting orange?
I'm putting a bit of more orange in here. Yeah, just a bit. I'm
You're
adding,
putting orange on the canvas
No,
or
no.
mixing it in the paint?
yeah, I'm taking red, mixing it with yellow, making an orange and pushing that into the light green that I have here, the really light green. Right there. Can you see it? Can you see some orange in here?
Uh-oh.
No, that's okay. I mean, just taking green, sap green, push the yellow in it and take some red, put it in that yellow. And there you go. You have an earthy kind of orange.
It's too orange. Mine's too orangey.
Put some green in it, Anne.
Yeah, I just did,
Helps.
but it's still pretty orangey. More green.
It picks up the color of, the oranges that you have in the back. So whatever we have colors in here, it's nice to put a hint of these colors in the back, put them in the front too. So it doesn't look, the background doesn't look like it's disconnected from the foreground. Red into this yellow and yellow mixed with green. And I'm just going to put it in here. And all of a sudden you see that the foreground and the background are connected because of this hint of orange in here. Okay, let's highlight the veil. Take, where's the yellow ochre? Here we go. Let's take yellow ochre. So I have burnt umber underneath as a base. And I'm just going to take yellow ochre for now and just put first layer. So yellow ochre over burnt umber is not going to be too strong. First layer. Let's take
Okay,
that's just a combination of burnt umber and yellow ochre, just for the light in the front here. We're going to highlight it more. It's not going to be, this is not the,
No, I'm not asking for one right now.
all right. So this is not really the same shape, but that's okay. I'm really not concerned. I don't want to, doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be exactly the same. Take more of the yellow ochre and put it here. Now, while this is drying, I'm going to take yellow ochre and put a touch of yellow in it. And a bit of white. yellow ochre, bit of burnt umber for a darker.
And burnt umber?
Yeah, yellow ochre and burnt umber in here, in this area.
No white. And white?
Well, my brush has white on it. You know, the light yellow ochre. All I did is I just grabbed a bit of burnt umber. I didn't clean my brush, so whatever is there. Again, now, yellow ochre. Clean my brush, actually, not clean it. I dipped it a bit in water because it's getting dry. Again, yellow ochre, touch of yellow, cadmium yellow light, and a bit of white in there. Nice. You know the reason I'll explain why I'm using yellow, cadmium yellow light in my yellow ochre when I'm highlighting. Because when I use yellow ochre and white only, it becomes kind of an off-white color. And I want it to be, I don't want it to be, I still want this color to be bright. So the only way to do that is to use a bit of yellow, cadmium yellow light in my yellow ochre before I add white.
Why does the sequence matter?
What do you mean?
Why can't you do yellow ochre white and then add yellow light?
Oh, because I can gauge how light this yellow ochre is going to be. You know what I mean? Like when I add white at the end, I can control how light this yellow ochre is, you know, instead of, if I use white and yellow ochre, I'm not going to be able to gauge the value. The same way when you add yellow to your yellow ochre, and then you take white and you put it in, then you can see how light this is. Is it too light? It's not a light enough. And, you know, you can gauge it better. I don't know. Maybe you can do it the other way around.
No, I'm asking to see
Yeah.
what the logic is, because
yeah, just to gauge the highlight better. How much white I want in there. This is just yellow ochre. I'm grabbing a bit of yellow ochre and I'm putting it here in the, just yellow ochre, no highlight. Okay, now I can highlight this more. So let's see. Let's take a smaller brush. This is a bright, but it's smaller, just a small bright. Now I'm going to take yellow ochre. Take white. Okay. With the corner of my brush. Oh, this is too light. I'm gonna go darker, a bit darker. So I'm grabbing a bit more yellow ochre in here, especially for the ones in the back. Okay, that one is good. This one. This one I'm gonna darken a tiny bit. You can either use burnt umber if you have it ready, or you could use ultramarine violet. I think burnt umber is better. Yeah.
Oh,
Now wipe my brush. Get some more yellow. I mean raw umber with my yellow ochre, and just come here and give this part a bit of highlight in here. Very subtle. Now go back to yellow ochre. I'm gonna grab yellow and white and add it to my yellow ochre. So I'm keeping a highlight up here. I'm not bringing the highlight down. Let it dry. Into a brighter brush, a wider brush, I'm sorry, wider. I'm using corner of my brush and just bringing some detail of the grass here. Okay, this one in the back is really far, so no detail. Let's fix the shape of this one. I've never done this before. Never painted bale before.
You've never painted before, Loel?
Bale,
Oh.
these bales, this detail. I've never done that before.
Remember Kier did those bales with his kids jumping on them years ago?
Oh, yeah, yes, 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 that's true. I remember. Yes. Round brush, I'm just grabbing some with a round brush, some burnt umber. I'm just giving it a bit of detail here, not much, just tiny bit of at the bottom.
Yeah, that's not working.